Like the ones we see opposite us, and that will be all ready for a property market that is collapsing around the world. The Saudi Arabian property market is collapsing, the Russians are all embargoed, so there's going to be no market for this building. They will destroy this building and they will find it very difficult to rent or sell the flats in the building that comes. And it's deeply, deeply upsetting to destroy this building which has had so much investment. Beyond £4 million has recently been invested in this building. When that investment was going on, me and my colleagues were telling students, it's great, we're going to be building a new art school for you. That was a lie. And we have been, the staff, we've been implicated in that lie, essentially. We didn't know it at the time, but it's turned out to be a false story. And it's wrong to teach students like that. We're all about widening participation at this university, and London Metropolitan University is an extraordinary institution. It is about widening participation. One of the things about London Metropolitan University, one of the tools that we have in our bag to confront the wars that are going on around the world and the atomisation and fragmentation of communities, one of the things that we have in a democracy is education. To shrink London's principal widening participation university, whether you're interested in the arts or not, is a complete disaster for London. We're building all this infrastructure, we're building Crossrail, we're building capacity for London, we're building ludicrous investment properties which will have never been let. But we're shrinking London's capacity to educate itself, and it's completely wrong. So now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like, Ivana Blaswick from the Whitechapel Art Gallery. Ladies and gentlemen, Ivana has been a fantastic supporter of the Cass. She's been a fantastic supporter of Robert Marl and the effort to, present this all-gate Bauhaus idea. But now Ivana is going to say a few words in support of all of your efforts to maintain creative education in London, particularly in Aldgate.
So I've done it, so I've got a 20-minute video up there, so we'll do this now.
The Whitechapel Gallery is 115 years old, and without art schools it could not and will not exist. The people who study art are the Whitechapel Gallery exhibitors of the future. We've had a history of firsts, and that history will die if art schools cannot survive in this country. A few years ago, a rather strange acronym came to be used: STEM, Science, Technology, English and Maths. We believe that should be STEAM, Science, Technology, English, Art and Maths. Because without art there is no innovation, there's no creativity, there's no power, there's no innovation. The arts are fundamental to British prosperity and British civil society. The sale of the Cass is the first step in the erosion
of art schools in Britain, and with that we should be a poorer, less democratic and less creative nation. So we must fight for the owners of this, the new owners of this building, to pledge to rent it to the university for the next decade. I think that should be the next step of the struggle. And to persuade people that this neighbourhood will be impoverished without the presence of all the extraordinary young people that have made it the Bauhaus of Aldgate. Hey!
What? There's a character there.
Hi everybody, we now have Clara Palliard from the National Gallery Campaign. She's going to speak to you about another thing of great artistic importance that we need to protect. And that campaign managed to take 111 days to strike to protect it, and they won! So it is possible to do this stuff. So I'm now going to invite Clara to come and speak to us. Thank you, Clara. She's good at chanting as well, that's great.
Hi everybody, I'm Clara Palliard, I'm the president of the PCS culture sector. We represent 4,000 museum workers across this country. After me, I will invite the Candy Edwin, our rep at the National Gallery, to more specifically speak about that campaign and the lessons you can take from now. But first of all, I'd like to bring the solidarity and support of my union, PCS, and in particular from those 4,000 museum workers also struggling to rescue arts and culture from the claws of the military government. And destroying art of education is part of a grand plan of restricting access to culture and keeping it for the elites and the millionaires. This enterprise is not just detrimental to all human beings, but it is and will affect disproportionately working class people, women, people of color, people with disabilities, young people, and the LGBT community. This is why your call to keep the caste in this community, as well as defending your courses and your job, is very important. Gentrification is already affecting this community, and moving the caste will be another stone to this enterprise. Your campaign is very inspiring, and your 3 demands stand for staff, students, and the community are key of it. Only by fighting in solidarity with other campaigns in the arts and culture sector, we can win. We need to put pressure on Sadiq Khan in particular, who is standing as the mayor of London, for him to intervene into those matters. This shouldn't be left to the trustees of the universities and some, executive paid thousands and thousands of pounds. Last year, many of you supported the PCS campaign to stop the privatization at the National Gallery, and it was our solidarity, your solidarity, that kept us going. And Candy will tell you a little bit more about that. But this campaign at National Gallery has inspired the whole movement, like your campaign is carrying on to inspire others. In particular, it's helping to build what I call the cultural resistance. We've already forced the government to back down on some of the art cuts at their last budget statements, but this is only the beginning, because cuts, as we can see here, keep affecting people. Trade unions in the culture sector are working with art students, art campaigners, artists, and many others to build up this cultural resistance, because we believe there is an alternative to the fucking pouring misery in their ivory towers. Art is about joy, it's about humanity. Access to art and culture is actually a human right, Article 27 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And we're going to fight for this right, we're down for the alternative, get rid of the government of millionaires. Saving the caste is part of this fight, and PCS culture sector is with you. Solidarity.
Hi everyone, we're now going to call on Candy Edwin from the National Gallery Campaign, because they gave such inspiration to everybody. So Candy's going to, I won't say any more, but Candy will tell you.
Well, the first thing I wanted to do actually was to congratulate you, because it's such a hard battle we've got, isn't it? They're attacking everything that we care about, and you should be congratulated because you're standing up against it, and you're not just fighting for yourself. You're not just fighting for this art gallery, actually. You're fighting for the idea that we have a right to education.
And I want to just say to you that the closing of this building that happened a couple of weeks ago has shocked everybody. It's just the last in the stage of just selling off our assets. I want to say that creative education is not only important for art, it's important for everything. It's important for learning science. Anything that you do, it's important to learn art and music in order to do those things, to learn to think creatively. So, with no more ado, I should just say that there is the University of Hastings has just had something very similar happen to it, with the faculty closed, and we stand with them, we offer solidarity to them, and they have offered solidarity to us. So we're going to broaden this out, and we're going to fight the whole university system that's taking our staff away, it's taking our jobs away. People are being made redundant as we speak. They're being made redundant and told they're going to be replaced with casualised staff. I don't know if you know what that means. That means people who get no rights, no sick pay, no nothing. That is a scandal for a university, and it's happening all over universities. They're getting rid of the permanent staff and replacing them with casualised staff who have no rights. We cannot allow your learning environment, our working environment, is your learning environment. So how your teachers are treated is how you are treated. So without any more ado, I'm going to ask a couple of students to come up and speak. I think we'll have Mandy first of all. Mandy, where are you? This on? Yeah.
You know me, yeah? I'm gonna do one of my raps that I've done before, yeah? So the last time now, we got some news on the 9th of October from the BC. All campuses are moving to the north to one big family. It's time for us to fight back. It's you and me, protect the Cass and its history. I feel so sad. I feel like these years were the best time I've ever had. 5 years it's been. I can't believe it. Now they're taking it away. I feel so sad I don't even know what to say. This decision that was made, where did it really come from? These people don't know the meaning of wrong. They don't even know that the Cass could really be strong. Let us show you where we really come from. Like this email coming from a machine. How you getting this facts like they invented is making my head spin. This decision making by people that we've never seen. How can you say that 65% of people want to study in one place? Well, we're from city and we don't vote for this shit. So I'm telling you now to your face. The truth is, this is gonna be a big mistake. All the city campus students are here to say no to moving to the north, because we're not gonna go. We're gonna sign a petition to win this mission. If we have to stay awake all night, we're doing till the decision is right. Now students and staff are stressed. They don't leave their jobs. You're making the labs a mess. Well, you're saying what to do. If you don't like it, fix your face. Or we'll just leave you hanging in another place. If you want to see the rest, go to YouTube and just check it out, Master Shadow.
Well done, Mandy. Thank you. Okay, I just want to give you another little bit of context. This whole thing at Londonnet, the project building, the movement of courses to North Campus, the reducing of the university to 10,000 students, it's all part of a big governmental campaign to reduce your educational access. I'll tell you, the Green Paper sets out a number of things that universities are going to do to restrict your access to arts education. One of them is, importantly, that your subjects will be linked to employability gains. So art subjects, which have a traditionally low employment rate, will not be accounted for. They will be lost. So we need to do everything we can to protect these courses at Cass and to keep them here. And one more thing I would say is that Cass is very much a part of the community around us. The buildings, the business, the people. We are the Cass and we are in this community. And Huddersfield University has an amazing community. They actually opened their library in the university to the public. So there are all things that we can think of. These are all things ways we can afford. We do not have to accept this model that we're being forced upon us, and is forced upon us by the BC. So with no ado, I'm going to now ask Jenny. Jenny, come on.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure everyone's sick of the sound of my voice right now, so I'll switch. When I began campaigning in November, I had absolutely no idea how much of a bigger picture than saving the Aldgate Barhouse this would be. This is about the misrepresentation and the lies that are rife in this country. It's about the pushing out of the Indian, black, ethnic and Asian culture of Aldgate East. And it's now about the pushing out of its art culture by property developers and now the money-hungry management of London Metropolitan University. This is about art in this country. It's about art and being taken out of EMAN. Look it up if you don't know what that is. It's about kids not only being able to take one creative subject to GCSE. How can we encourage children that art makes them powerful and it gives them a voice if there are poor art graduates and rich criminals sat in head offices of London Met and number 10 Downing Street making these decisions that affect us like this? This is also about John Rafferty's one campus, one community agenda that's been rushed and pushed through with no regard for the staff or students that he's been paid more than David Cameron to look after. The master planners, out of their own mouths, have said that now Central House has been sold. They cannot plan for what is best for the cast and other faculties. They must plan for what is doable in 17 months. This is about the lies that London Met Uni continue to put on their website. The One Campus, One Community page still says only 26% of students disagree with Rafferty's agenda when the percentage is closer to 89. The article about the Oxford Brooks trip was a gloss over the important and concerning issues surrounding a campus move, which they said is not the best thing for a student, it is cost effective, which Robert Mull was saying in the beginning. Obi Apara was quoted in the article as saying design engine created a world-class building. He knows, and I know, and Mandy know, and anybody on that trip that is untrue. We were told that it took 8 years in total to complete their building. The disabled access was appalling. They spent extra time and extra money, which, let's face it, London Met don't have, in making the building functional and retrofitting around concrete rooms and non-functional space. The sound bleed in that building is horrendous, described to me by an Oxford Brooks teacher as an echoing airport, described to me by another as distracting working environment and learning environment. On a personal note, there have already been redundancies in the CAS faculty, and with 3 more rounds of redundancies to go, I have no doubt that Central House will be next. In an open forum that I was accidentally invited to and then kicked out of by John Rafferty, because he said that there were things he did not want broadcast to students. He said this year, to save money, staff will be cut from 66% to 60% and then to 53% next year. I'm paying over 9,000 years. I am paying over £9,000 a year to be taught by Mick Williamson, Sue Andrews, Annie DeBrasco, Paula Leonardi, Heather McDonough and Spencer Rowell, and our technicians Lisa Pad and Seb, not HPL staff that Christina was talking about. I'm currently demanding that the meeting with the VC promised to the stars is to be rescheduled. I encourage all staff and students to join me at that meeting and call for John Rafferty to resign before he takes any more of our money, takes away our tutors and disrupts our education any further. Demand that he communicates with your tutors. In a board of the governors meeting, the effect on recruitment was, by the miscommunication from management, was discussed, so they know this is happening, so we need to demand that they communicate with us. So all the students and staff have to stand up together and say, John Rafferty, we're not putting up with this anymore, you need to go.
Thank you. Lisa, would you like to just come and say a few words? Come and you say you support the junior doctor? Okay, Lisa's a bit shy, but that doesn't matter, we all support. Okay, so the next speaker is going to be Tom Taylor from PCS. He's going to give us a few words of outside encouragement, which is great. Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, Christina. Thanks for the invite to speak. Actually, I'm coming here today from the committee of the Southern and Eastern region of the TUC, which represents people who work in the creative and leisure industries committee. And I can say that not only does that committee fully support your disputes, we've had ongoing reports from the union reps there, but also the Southern and Eastern region of the TUC fully supports the dispute and the campaign. So thanks for that. Now, in terms of preparing some words today, I thought I'd do a little bit of research to try and get into the head of the main villain behind the piece, John Raftery. And on his appointment, he said the following: "I am proud to serve as Vice-Chancellor, taking forward the university's strong mission in an increasingly marketised environment is an appealing challenge. We need to strengthen our competitive appeal." Those were the main priorities of a complete idiot, if you ask me, because I would have thought the role of the Vice-Chancellor at an educational institution might be something to do with education, as my 16-year-old daughter might say. So he's described as well by the university as an expert in applied economics. Now, whilst not wanting to belittle that kind of knowledge and expertise, his decisions suggest a greater interest in balancing the books than they do in developing education, and much more developing a world-class institution that's rooted in the local community. Truly a man who knows the price of everything and the value of nothing. Now, Oscar Wilde used those words to describe what a cynic is. I'd say that Raftery is more than a cynic. He's an iconoclast, he's a cultural vandal. That is his legacy in his term as Vice-Chancellor. And there's no difference, as far as I'm concerned, in principle between the destruction of this institution and what ISIS did in Syria when they destroyed a 2,000-year-old temple. It's exactly the same kind of cultural vandalism. That is the character of this man. Now, in the press recently, there's been a lot of reportage of secret backroom deals that are not in the national interest and are faultless. Basically, those comments were in relation to the proposed transfer of thousands of photographs from Bradford to London. But I say that the same principle applies to the Cass. We must say that if you genuinely believe those kinds of words, then put your words into action. That is our demand of the politicians, because it's both faultless and it's not in any interest to close down courses and buildings at the Cass. Finally, I'll just say that I can guarantee that CERTAP and the Creative and Leisure Industries Committee will still listen and receive reports from your reps and from your campaign. We will support you fully. Onwards to victory. Solidarity.
Great.
I'd like to say something.
Right, okay, we're now going to have a student from the jewellery and silversmithing course who's going to tell you a little something that I don't quite know what it is, but I'm sure it's great.
Yeah, I just have to say, I'm in total disagreement with this. I'm in total disagreement. I'm in total disagreement with this. First year jewellery and silversmithing student, and the course has been cancelled, basically. So this means when I graduate, we'll be the last group. They've cancelled the course completely, and we're not happy. We're not happy at all, and it's a shame because I know it's been a while. I've wanted to do jewellery for ages, to actually do this course. I got on, was very happy. There's been a couple of people that have left because they've been told, well, you know, we're going to move. There's no more intake, and so on. A lot of the lecturers, and they're really good lecturers, have been told they're basically going to lose their jobs. They're having to try and find new ones. I've got a really good design lecturer, and his name's Stephen Folland. Excellent. And he's one of them that's been told he won't have his job anymore. And I hate it. I really do. That's why I had to come up and say something. There you go.
Rave the Cass! Thank you very much. Fantastic. So now we're going to hear from Richard Payne, who's a UCU colleague of mine, but more importantly, he's from the North Campus. Now, this problem that we have here is a London-led problem. It's a problem with the way they are cancelling courses, cutting staff, cutting your educational resources across the whole university, and indeed across universities all over the country. This is all part of one big marketisation exercise. So I'm going to ask Richard Payne to come and say a few words from North Campus. Welcome, Richard.
Thank you, Christina. let's remind ourselves of the choice of this demonstration today. We marched today from the Royal London Hospital to this imperilled building here. Obviously there's something strong which actually links the two struggles of junior doctors and here at the Cass. One of the large and important national strike which is going on and will go on into April, and there's a smaller but still very important struggle to keep open access to education and art education in this part of London. Obviously it's really important that you're all here and we're keeping up this spirit of resistance. If we'd have stood here in the 1930s, about 70 or 80 years ago, the East End of London would have been an incredibly different place. Let's remind ourselves of why we do have a National Health Service, of why we do have a comprehensive education system. The welfare state, which came about in the mid and late 1940s, had a mission of fighting 5 giant evils. 2 of those giant evils were fighting disease, which is why we marched from the Royal London Hospital, and ignorance, why we're out here defending education. That battle for those rights, for a welfare state, for a humane type of capitalism, took place after the war, when this country was virtually bankrupt. We're told now that these things are not viable. They're not affordable. We can't afford them. We have to pay off a budget deficit. The deficit then in 1945 was 2.5 to 3 times the deficit now. We're living in a world which is immeasurably wealthier than then, witnessed by the buildings soaring and soaring into the skies that we can see now. One small indication of that was something called Fat Cat Tuesday. On January the 6th, which is called Fat Cat Tuesday, the top directors of the FTSE index companies achieved, with their £1,350 per hour salaries, to get the national minimum income that most people have in 1 year. There is so much wealth in this society, and yet we're constantly told that providing an education with grants and maintenance awards is not possible. We're told that we have to sell off our key services in health to the private sector. Obviously that's not possible. We must keep on fighting and break the lie that these things are not affordable. As people have said, we've got to take this issue, turn it into a much larger issue, keep blowing on the spirit of resistance as I can see here now, and hopefully we will succeed in keeping this, or if not this, other university faculties open. Thank you very much. Onwards and outwards, fight for education.